Find ways to implement short bursts of discomfort into your daily life. This will ensure growth and prevent you from falling into sloth.
Hey, Shalom Akyam, Wa'akwath. First and foremost, like always, we give all praises to our power, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM YAHAWAH. YAHAWAH is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world through ignorance calls Ahaya, Yahuwah, Yahweh, or anything else, not according to the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahawah means He exists, He to be. Bahasham, in the name of Yahawashi, who the world through ignorance calls Yahuwah, Yeshua, or Jesus Christ. Yahawashi means He saves, He delivers, and they are both so-called black men according to the Holy Scriptures. And I want to give double honor to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, the man that taught me the 100% truth according to the Holy Bible. And shalom to the Israelite foreigners who are scattered amongst the heathen in these last days. And you so-called Negroes, you so-called Latinos, and you so-called Native Americans, you make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Judah, the so-called Negroes, being the head tribe of the southern kingdom, and Ephraim, you so-called Latinos or Hispanics, being the head tribe of the northern kingdom. And the name of this lesson is entitled, Stop Being Slothful and Start Being Uncomfortable in This Truth. Okay, I'll read that one more time. Stop being slothful and start being uncomfortable in this truth. Okay, stop being slothful. Now, the inspiration of this lesson came from the book of Romans 12 and 11. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. You see, not slothful. So in this truth, man, you can't be slothful. And when you go into that word slothful, let me get it real quick. This is the book of Romans, once again, 12 and 11. To be slothful actually means to be lazy, okay? And this truth, if you're lazy, pursuing to the precept in the book of Revelation, if you're lazy, the Lord is going to cut you off, okay? Cut you off from this truth, or from the truth, from doing His will on the right-hand side. It says, not slothful, okneros.
Strong's G 3636, akneras. Akneras.
Akneras. It says sluggish, slothful. It says what? Backward. You see that? If you're a slothful brother or a sister who's not reading, who's not praying, who's not being consistent, who's not putting, the at least the minimum effort, you're going what? You're going backward. And according to the testimony, according to the law and the testimony, let me get a real quick precept. Isaiah 1 and 4. It says, sinful nation. And that's speaking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, you are a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord Yahawah. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel, right, which is Yahawashi, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, unto anger. They, who's the they, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, are gone away. It says what? Backward. You see that? So you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans have gone backward. And that's where you get one of the synonyms for the word slothful, which means what? Backward. So going back to the book of Romans, the 12th chapter in the 11th verse. Not slothful, right? Don't be going backward. Because if you go backward, man, that's actually you, okay, going a level backwards. So if you're in level 9, hey, you're gonna go back to level 8. And if you don't pray to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI to boost you up, okay, to give you that spiritual boost, then you're gonna go backwards to level 7, level 6, so on and so forth, and ultimately you're gonna end up in level 1. Okay, And being in level 1, that's an example of being too comfortable. And that's when you become slothful. You stop reading, you stop edifying, you stop exhorting, you stop feeding the sheep, you stop praying, and you're in your comfort zone. Okay, and that comfort zone is very dangerous. And here I have an example of the comfort zone. It's where you feel so-called safe and in control. But guess what? When you shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon you as a woman in travail, and you don't want that. You gotta actually conquer your fears, man. Whatever fear that you have, okay, you have to be able to fight that. Whatever demon you're going through, man, you gotta fight that demon with spiritual powers, man, by reading, okay, praying to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, and being uncomfortable. Okay, here you have the fear zone, where you find what excuses. You see, you lack what self-confidence, meaning you lack faith. Okay, you're affected by the vain opinions of other people, man, especially your own people. You see, now when you go into the learning zone, that's where you acquire new skills. And what are examples of new skills? And you start in this truth, you start learning, various scriptures in the law, various prophecies. Okay, you start learning more about the mark of the beast. You start learning more about World War III. And that's very uncomfortable, man. It's very uncomfortable actually learning, prophecies that are going to come to pass. Okay, and that's the better part of this truth. Okay, learning, the prophecies of destruction, because nobody really wants to hear about destruction, man. That's very uncomfortable. People want to hear about, smooth words, peace and safety. But when you come into this truth, you got to understand, the prophecies of being uncomfortable, persecution. Okay, not going, going 1 or 2 days without eating, no water, having to be sleeping 2 hours a day when all hell break loose, going out from house to house, from shelter to shelter. That's an example of being uncomfortable. And here, after you escape, there's actually a comfort zone chart. When you actually go into the growth zone, it gives you a purpose. You find purpose. Yeah, what's a purpose? Salvation. That's our ultimate purpose in the kingdom, right? Live your dreams, write your visions, which are prophecies. You set new goals. Yeah, and that's an example of being uncomfortable. Writing down your goals and actually executing those goals. And we understand that man's goings are of the Lord. And YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is going to ultimately, if you're of the hopeful elect, is going to give you new goals in order for you to be uncomfortable and grow. Conquer objectives. Yeah. And again, going back to the title of this lesson, stop being slothful, right? Stop being lazy, man. Okay? So, if you're a brother that's not reading, or you're a sister that's not reading, that's not praying, that you're always on social media, taking a bunch of selfies, trying to see who's the next man you're gonna talk to. You see that's going hella off, man. Okay, especially for your brothers and first and foremost and sisters. Okay, stop seeking attention from others. Okay, that's an example of being comfortable, being in that worldly mindset where you want the approval of the people in the world. Nah, when you're in this truth, you got to find the approval of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Again, stop being slothful and start being uncomfortable in this truth. Now, when you go into that word uncomfortable, or to be discomfort, it says what? To be in pain. Yeah, spiritual pain. You got to be irritated. It says to hurt. Yeah, and this truth hurts, man. Hebrews 4:12, for the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword. And discomfort. That's for your growth, man. That's for your betterment. And now when you go into the etymology word of discomfort, it says what? Misfortune, adversity. You see? You got to go through adversity. And that reminds me of that precept in Sirach 25. For gold, who's a gold? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans with the elect. It's tried in the fire. What's the fire? This word. Okay, and the word is what? Adversity. An acceptable man in the furnace of adversity. So the only way you're going to be accepted by Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, you're gonna have to go through what? Through that fire. Okay, the fire of adversity. And real quick, I want to get that quote that I brought out earlier in the introduction of this lesson from the Spartans, which the Spartans are actually Israelites. Okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, especially you brothers who are out in the highways and hedges, prophesying the downfall of this kingdom. You're actually those Spartans back in the reincarnation. Okay, hey, that's why Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi has chosen the strongest men, okay, the men of war in the spirit, to go and do his will. You see, so you brothers out there who are diligent, who are consistent, who are not being slothful, who are fighting the spirit and the demon on the left hand side of laziness, hey, you're those Spartans back in the reincarnation. Because when you study the Spartans, okay, they were very uncomfortable. Okay, they implemented, okay, a lot of discomfort in their daily lives. Just like boxing, physical combat, various other examples. Gymnastics. Okay, working out. This is First Maccabees 12:21 to back that up. My statement. That I said that the Spartans are actually Israelites. And when you read various documents, you go into various different history books, you will come into the understanding that the Spartans, back during the times of the Greeks, the Grecians, which are Israelites, okay, that's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Also, when you go into the various topics of the Spartans, they were what? They were known as men of war. And in these last days, when you look at the best, the best fighters, the best athletes, they are all so-called Negroes or so-called Latinos. And a good example is the in the boxing world. The boxing world, you look at the top 10, top 50 boxers of all time. They're mainly Judah, Ephraim, and Issachar, man. That's how we are those Spartans back in the reincarnation. But nevertheless, going back to the topic, okay, to back up that statement that I said earlier, that the Spartans are linked, or are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. First Maccabees 12:21, we have found a document. What's a document? A document is what? A record, okay, or genealogy of a seed line. An example of genealogy is you can read the book of Genesis, you can read the book of Numbers, and the book of First and Second Chronicles. It says we have found a document about the Spartans and the Jews. The Jews are what? The southern kingdom. Okay, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But we understand that pursuant to the curses, the law and the testimony, the book of Deuteronomy 28th chapter, and the testimonies of Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, major and minor prophets, the nation of Israel are scattered amongst the heathen, but also the nation of Israel, they have intermingled with the different tribes. So you might have, Judah, a Judite man intermingling with a Gadite woman. You might have a Gadite man intermingling with the Benjamite woman, okay, or vice versa. And that goes for all the tribes. It says the Spartans and the Jews, right, starting with the southern kingdom, okay, YAHAWAH, indicating that we are related and that both of our nations are descended from Abraham. Yeah, from Abraham you had Isaac, and then you had Jacob, and then you had the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. That's why this powerful quote actually, has a chemistry with the scriptures. Okay, with the words of Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi via the prophets. It says, find ways to implement short bursts of discomfort into your daily life. And examples of being uncomfortable in the truth is what? Speak about new topics. Because you have these different camps in the nation of Israel who are always in their comfort zone. which there's nothing wrong talking about the law. The law is good. We establish the law, but if you're always in the law and the law and the law, but you lack speaking about prophecies, about the major prophecies in these last days, that's an example of being too comfortable. And when you come into this truth, being uncomfortable is speaking about new topics. If you're not speaking about the law, speak about the chariots, the so-called UFOs. If you're always speaking about the so-called UFOs, the chariots, start speaking about history. Going to the Apocrypha, going to the book of First Maccabees, Second Maccabees, going to the history of how so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans are linked back to the samurais, the Vikings, the Spartans. Okay, these are examples. You want to be able to talk about health, the dietary law of how to eat better foods, going into the various vitamins and minerals. These are examples of being uncomfortable, speaking new topics. Bring out new precepts. Okay, if you're always bringing out the same precept at camp, every other week, that's being comfortable. Okay, to be uncomfortable, go into various precepts, but make sure before you bring out that precept, you got to understand what that precept means, what that scripture means. Okay, bring out various precepts from Sirach, Wisdom of Solomon, go into the Bell and the Dragon, go into the book of First Esdras, go into the book of First Chronicles, First Kings, Second Kings. These are examples of bringing out new precepts. Okay, another example of being uncomfortable in this truth, you got to speak a new language. So if you're a brother that or sister that speaks just one language, you got to be uncomfortable into learning how to speak a second language. If you're a brother or a sister that speaks two languages, be uncomfortable into speaking a new language like French or Italian, okay, or German. Just giving various examples. If you're a brother or a sister that speaks three languages, you gotta get out of your comfort zone and speak four languages, so on and so forth. That's an example, okay, of being uncomfortable and not being slothful. You gotta go extra, man. So if you're a brother that if you make one video a week, make 2 videos a week. If you're a brother that makes one video a day, make 2 videos a day. Okay, if you're a brother that makes 3 videos a day, go 4 videos a day. That's an example of being uncomfortable in this truth, being in a spirit of discomfort. Okay, pain, going through the fiery furnace, being corrected. That's another example, man. When a brother rebukes you, okay, maybe you have to read. If you're at camp, maybe you have to read louder. Okay, maybe you have to be more slow in speech, louder in voice, roughly paraphrasing. You got to accept that correction and improve yourself. Okay, and a good example, okay, is myself. I want to give an example of myself. I got to get more into making more videos in Spanish, because according to prophecy and the law, the law and the testimony, there's more northern kingdom, there's more Israelites in the northern kingdom than there is for the southern kingdom. So there has to be more laborers, in Spanish lessons, so to speak. That's another example of being corrected. Okay, if you go off on a precept and you get put on the hot seat, you get corrected, humble down and correct your doctrine, man. That's an example of being uncomfortable. Okay, and it doesn't feel well, man. Okay, when you're in this truth, it feels very bitter. But guess what? The most in the world, when you eat the bitter herbs, that's what makes you stronger. That's what actually heals you. That's your medicine. Work out. Hey man, in this truth, if you're a brother or a sister that's not used to working out, implement working out. If you do 10 minutes jogging a week, go 10 minutes jogging every other day. If you run 1 mile a day, run 2 miles a day. Just examples of being uncomfortable. Push-ups, pull-ups. If you want to cut some weight, maybe cut 1 pound every month, a pound a week. Just giving examples of being uncomfortable. Okay, this actually makes you in the spirit of not being slothful. Okay? So again, find ways to implement short bursts of discomfort into your daily life. Hey, if you want to be a brother, if you're a brother that's into hobbies, if you want to start playing the guitar, hey, you can play the guitar, man. You want to play the violin, play the violin. You want to play the piano. You want to join martial arts, for self-defense, hey, join martial arts for self-defense. If you want to learn how to cook, steak, well done, how to make various different dishes, a breakfast dish, a lunch dish, or a dinner, and you don't know how, be uncomfortable and learn how to do that, man. That's an example of growing in the truth. It says this will, right, being uncomfortable, being in a discomfort spirit, will ensure growth. You see, in this truth, you got to grow thereby. Okay, anything that doesn't grow actually dies, man. So you got to keep growing and prevent you from falling into sloth. You see that? So being uncomfortable will actually help you into what? Into not being lazy. And a good example of a man of the Lord who was always uncomfortable and who was always growing was Apostle Paul, the beloved Apostle Paul. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 24. 5 different times the Jew leaders, right, which are Israelites, gave me 39 lashes. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. Once I spent a whole night, a day adrift at sea. I have traveled on many long journeys. I have faced danger from rivers and from robbers. I have faced danger from my own people, the Jews as well as from the Gentiles. I have faced danger in the cities. It says, in the deserts and on the seas. And I have faced danger from men who claim to be believers but are not. I have worked hard and long, enduring many sleepless nights. I have been hungry and thirsty, and have often gone without food. I have shivered in the cold without enough clothing to keep me warm. Okay, these are examples, man, of discomfort. Okay, and that's what made Apostle Paul stronger in the mind, stronger and rooted in YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. This Iraq 34 and 9. A well-traveled person with wide experience knows many things and talks sense. You see, so if you're a man of the Lord who's uncomfortable, who's always experiencing new things, to grow in wisdom, okay, that's what makes you not slothful. That's what makes you grow in spirit. You can't know much if you haven't experienced much. Yeah, if you're always in your comfort zone, you're never going to experience, okay, this truth, man, with the whole, eating the whole roll, like it says in the book of Ezekiel. Eat the whole roll, both the bitter and the sweet part, to grow thereby. Therefore, you will not have experience if you don't eat the whole scriptures. But travel. Yeah, you got to travel in the scriptures, man. Okay, and if you can, also physically, if you're always in San Diego, hey, shit, go to Oceanside. Okay, if you're always in Oceanside, go to Carlsbad. If you're always in Carlsbad, hey, shit, go to LA, man. Go to different parts of California. If you're always in the ghettos, you're always in the streets, hey, go to the beach, man. If you're always at the beach, go to the park. If you're always at the park, hey, go to the valleys, man. Go to the mountains, go hiking, go biking, go running, go swimming, man. These are examples of being uncomfortable. But travel can make you more clever. Yeah, you start being more wise. You start learning, from the plants, from the animals, from the peoples, different cultures. In my own travels, I have seen many things and learned more than I can put into words. I have been in danger of death many times. Yeah, when you experience new things, man, you will face, death, man. Okay, the valley of the shadow of death. Okay, you will experience a lot of setbacks, a lot of struggles. But what it says, but I have always been able to escape by relying on past experiences. It says, those who fear the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI will live because they have put their trust in the one who can save them. Fear the Lord and you will have nothing else to fear. If you trust in him, you will never act like a coward. People who fear the Lord are fortunate because they know where they can look for help. The Lord watches over those who love him. He is their strong protection and firm support. He shelters them from the heat, the shades them from the noonday sun, and keeps them from stumbling and falling. Because at first, when you go through that furnace of adversity, man, okay, you have the demons messing with you, but you got to fight that, man, in order for you to grow, to overcome them demons. He makes them cheerful and puts a sparkle in their eye. He blesses them with life and health. You see that? So in order for you, brothers and sisters, to grow in this truth, okay, you got to defeat that slothful demon. And once you start defeating that slothful demon, you start being uncomfortable. That's when YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI can work with you, man. Again, find ways to implement short bursts of discomfort into your daily life. This will ensure growth and prevent you from falling into sloth. So stop being slothful and start being uncomfortable in this truth. Hey, I pray this lesson was edifying, man. Want to give all praises to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM